Hey guys, Brennan and Sleipnir here. Welcome back to the channel.
It's Turkey Day here in the United States, and my family has come together to give thanks, eat, drink, and wish me luck on my next adventure. It's been a busy few months since my first video. After the wedding, I spent Halloween in St. Paul with Brian and Aaron. It's safe to say that they liked the first video, and are now enjoying their adventures together as husband and wife. Along with Jeff, their best man from the wedding, we went as the Seed family from Far Cry 5. We had a lot of fun, maybe a little too much fun, and they all wished me luck on my journey to come. But wait, I hear you say, what's this adventure I keep talking about? Well, every year, to celebrate the coming of Yule, my mother and I take a vacation together to explore a part of this great country of ours. This year, we decided to head to the municipality of Boulder, Colorado, and I resolved to try to ride the 600 miles to get there. And, just a week before leaving on my trip, Brian and Jeff came down from St. Paul to see me, giving me the opportunity to finally thank Jeff for all the hard work he did putting together Brian's bachelor party and being an amazing best man at his wedding. Jeff's never been tattooed before, but he happily gave me his whole left arm to start turning into an armor sleeve. And in return, he gave me one of his spectacular glove shows. I got him an axe for the skulls of his enemies, and he and Brian gave me a JBL speaker to keep me company on the road ahead.
Loaded down with blessings and Thanksgiving leftovers, I said Auf Wiedersehen to my family, hopped on Sleipnir, and headed west, across the Missouri River, into Nebraska. I had 9 days allotted to try to cover the 600-mile distance, meaning I would have to cover 66.6 miles each day to make it.
It's always kind of lonesome on the first day. You just have this feeling of, man, what did I get myself into? Why did I do this? I just agreed to sleep outside and do cardio for 9 days straight. But I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's the end of the night. I'm feeling warm, I'm feeling cozy.
Somewhere lost, a little trickle, all of this lets you go. Come on inside, shake off the cold. Alright, oh, steady now, steady now, steady now, welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.
So that's the end of day 3. I'm really having a hard time clocking miles. It's, the weather and the wind, and I feel really heavy. The hills are getting steep. But I'm having a lot of fun. So this is what I woke up to on day 4. It is an absolute winter wonderland. Needless to say, not ideal conditions for cycling. I can only hope that as the morning progresses, the temperature rises, some plows and salt trucks come through on the highways, the wind, however, is finally blowing in a strong southerly direction. So there's that.
The forecast called for conditions to get worse throughout the day. But not wanting to quit or fall further behind on my schedule, I packed up and headed out of Albion for Cedar Rapids. Law enforcement kept a close eye on me as I continued, no doubt not wanting me to die somewhere in their jurisdiction. But then I come to a choice. Right is 15 miles to Cedar Rapids. Left, 1 mile to St. Edwards. The winds blowing in from the north are going between 30 and 40 miles an hour. There is no chance I'll be able to make it the rest of the way. I turn and head east. The crosswinds are no less forgiving going the other way, and it's a struggle to reach the town without losing my balance. Finally, I make it to shelter in St. Edward. But then I discover on the news that this is no longer a bout of early winter snowfall, but instead a winter storm that has been given its own name. Bruce.
It's snowing and blowing, all thanks to Winter Storm Bruce. Bruce continues to clobber areas with significant amounts of snowfall. You can see
Winter Storm Bruce cancels over 1,000 flights Sunday after bringing blizzard conditions across the Midwest. In Nebraska, state troopers responded to dozens of accidents in and around Lincoln over the weekend.
The storm named Bruce swept across the Midwest. The governor of Kansas to the south declared a state of emergency, and many highways were beginning to be shut down. This was the end of the line for Sleipnir and I. Reluctantly, I put out the call to my mom, and she and I resolved to finish the journey together by car. Though she was happy to not have to make the car ride on her own, and to see me safe, it left me pretty disheartened. I had never quit a bike tour before, and to stop after only reaching 145 miles made me feel like a failure, blizzard or no blizzard. I spent the car ride there nursing my pride, but then I saw mountains, and I knew we were in Boulder. Boulder is nestled comfortably in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, just 30 miles northwest of Denver. Boulder has some of the most valuable real estate in the country, with its most expensive property being between Broadway and the mountain slopes. And that's where we'll be staying. Getting acclimated is a priority up here, so luckily for us, our Airbnb has a trampoline to help us get used to the extra 4,000 feet of elevation.
So we just arrived in Boulder.
I'm gonna hop in the shower because we have a dinner table at the Mountain Sun with our name on it. Oh my goodness, we have been in town for a couple hours now and we are starving. So it is time to go and feast at the Mountain Sun. Heard they have good beer and good burgers. See if it's true.
The Mountain Sun is a farm-to-table gem on Pearl Street, a 4-block pedestrian shopping center in the heart of downtown Boulder. During the spring, Pearl Street is decorated with beds of imported Dutch tulips, but in winter, it and the nearby Central Park are covered in Christmas lights.
Finally made it to Boulder. I'm exhausted. Time to go to bed.
Day 2 had the best forecast of the 6 days we planned to be in Boulder, and it was for that reason we decided not to spend the day there, but instead to make the 1-hour drive north to visit a special temple. The temple lies deep in the mountains. In fact, it is the mountains. Rocky Mountain National Park.
Walking side by side, we scale the mountains high. Oh.
Founded in 1915, Rocky Mountain was the 9th national park, and the first to be created after the death of John Muir, the man who helped make Yosemite, Sequoia, Mount Rainier, and Petrified Forest national parks. Rocky Mountain was created thanks to Enos Mills, an aspiring nature writer who moved to Estes Park from Kansas when he was 14 on the advice of his doctor. He climbed the 14,259-foot Longs Peak alone when he was 15. He would make the climb alone 40 times in his life, and nearly 300 times as a guide. In 1889, when he was 19, Mills met John Muir in San Francisco, and from that point on, Mills dedicated himself to protecting the mountains he had fallen in love with.
Well, hi there, Mr. Magpie.
Muir wrote to Mills, encouraging him to continue fighting for the new park. But, as congressional hearings on the matter began, word arrived that John Muir had died. Many testified that the Longs Peak region should be protected forever in Muir's honor. Congress agreed, and on January 26, 1915, President Wilson signed a bill creating Rocky Mountain National Park. Mills' dream came true, and from that day on, he would be known as the John Muir of the Rockies. The park was 352 miles of pristine wilderness. It contains within its borders the Continental Divide, the headwaters of the Colorado River, and 17 mountains over 13,000 feet, Long's Peak being the tallest. Rocky Mountain is my first national park. My mom came here when she was younger than me, and getting to come here, just the two of us, was one of those priceless experiences you only get in a place this beautiful. I also learned on this trip that my mom is a lot less afraid of heights than I am.
Spend the day exploring Rocky Mountain National Park. Now we're about to try out the Hungry Toad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put some grub on.
Starving.
I couldn't wait to start day 3. While my mom went shopping, I took off from our Airbnb to see one of the most bicycle-friendly cities in the country. Boulder has 300 miles of bikeways, which is always expanding, despite being a city of less than 26 square miles. Boulder gets its name from the Boulder Creek, which runs through town from the mountains. Its bike path is Boulder's most prized. It's often plowed of snow before the town's roads. It's also a sanctuary for dozens of ducks during the winter. Adjacent to Boulder Creek and Boulder's Central Park is the Sister City Plaza. Few concepts are as dear to the Boulderites as international cooperation. This is displayed through its relationships with its 8 sister cities, located around the world. None of Boulder's sister cities are better represented than Dushanbe, the capital city of Tajikistan. Boulder is home to the Dushanbe Tea House, a testament to international peacemaking from the end of the Cold War. In 1987, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union were still high, and a group of local leaders from Boulder led an effort to establish a friendship with Dushanbe, a fellow college town that sits in the shadow of great mountains. What would you recommend?
Oolongs are one of my favorites. It's kind of like a nice combination between a green and a black tea. It has the earthiness of a green tea but the richness of a black tea.
Sounds great.
And I will have the blue side of the moon.
What's your name?
My name is Jill, and I've been managing at the tea house
on and off since 2004. The tea house is a gift from Dushanbe, the capital city of Tajikistan. It is the largest gift to the United States from Russia because at the time it was gifted to us, Dushanbe and Tajikistan was still part of the USSR. It is the only one of its kind in the Western Hemisphere, and it belongs to the people, so it's a museum. Over 40 Persian artists created the tea house in the ancient Persian method, so they didn't use any power tools. It's all wooden peg, everything was hand carved, everything was hand painted. We're looking at Siberian cedar columns. There's 14 of them in the building and they're 14 foot tall. All of the artists actually went to the Siberian forest and picked out their own tree and then hand carved it. This is called ganch. It's a 2,000-year-old Persian art form. It is very delicate, so they actually made that here in Boulder. Those are all hand-pounded copper goddesses, and they're the guardians of the tea house. And they symbolize the 7 virtues. They put it all together over there, and they disassemble it, and they ship it to Boulder, and we are thinking we don't know what to do. So we actually put it in a water facility storage unit for about 10 years, and wild cats actually took care of it. So they were just protecting it from the rats and the rodents. So by the time we opened it 10 years later to put it back together, it was in fantastic shape. We figured out who was going to own it, figured out where we were going to place it, figure out how we were going to get the original artists over here to put it back together, hire an American architect to winterize it because over in Dushanbe they're open air, and so they wouldn't have these windows and they wouldn't have the ceiling. It's one of the most structurally sound buildings in Colorado.
It's almost indescribable how relaxing cycling in this city is. 7 out of 10 Boulderites owns a bicycle, and some sources claim the total number of bikes in town almost equals the number of people. Boulder is home to the University of Colorado, which is also the town's biggest employer. All of the buildings use a common Tuscan style and have all been built using red sandstone quarried from nearby Lyon. In 1967, Boulder became the first city in the United States to tax itself for funds to be used specifically for the acquisition, maintenance, and management of open spaces. A survey by the CDC found that Colorado has fewer overweight people per capita than any other state, and National Geographic has referred to Boulder as America's happiest city. Well, after my first full day of exploring Boulder, I'm starving. And from what I hear, there's only one place to go if you love sushi. Oh my god, it is coming down such glorious snow. Nothing is better than being in a hot tub when it's snowing outside, is it, Mom? We've decided to come and replenish ourselves at the Buff. We've heard they're famous for pancakes. We're gonna see if it's deserved. Allons-y! Now, I'm sure by this point, a lot of you have noticed that we haven't done the first thing you do upon arriving in Boulder. And what is the first thing you do when you get into Boulder?
I'm a weed smoker, girl broker, fucked up in the head, call me the Joker. Me and you are trying to find there's no dope bar, so can I get a hell yeah in this motherfucker? I'm a weed smoker, weed smoker, weed smoker. You are trying to find up in the head, call me the Joker. There's no dope bar, so can I get a hell yeah, get a hell yeah in this motherfucker.
The people of Colorado have always loved cannabis, but back in 2012, Colorado became the first state in the union to legalize marijuana for recreational use through the popular ballot initiative called Amendment 64. Starting in 2014, people over 21 can buy marijuana at dispensaries that usually feel more like Apple stores with pot, and they haven't looked back since. Just know that it's treated much more like alcohol than cigarettes. So it's not cool to smoke it in public, and you're much better off becoming familiar with all the local laws before you decide to come out and partake.
to sleep, motherfucker.
Day 5 was our last full day in Boulder, so we decided to wake up early, grab our poles, and try to climb a mountain. Her name is Mount Sanitas. She's 1,343 feet high, and the top is just a 3-mile round trip from where we're staying. And though it may be a breeze for the locals and their dogs, it's a perfect challenge for a couple flatlanders first thing in the morning. Get to the top, Ma. Yeah. We took the steepest route to reach the top, and the gentlest to descend, wanting nothing more than to enjoy our morning watching the sun rise over this special little town. We are the most formidable mother-son duo that ever was seen by this mountain. I know too many people who regret how little time they spent bonding with their parents as adults. But luckily for me, my mom is one of the most outgoing people I know. She rarely shies away from a challenge, and she believes in grabbing life with both hands. Just got done climbing a mountain.
Feels like it.
After soaking our legs for a bit, we decided to take a drive 40 minutes south to pay a visit to another holy site in the eastern foothills of the Rocky Mountains to end our trip. Since opening in the 1940s, Red Rock's massive open-air amphitheater has been held as one of the best music venues in the country, or even the world. Red Rocks is the world's only acoustically perfect naturally occurring amphitheater, and it owes this to the two massive monoliths, Creation Rock and Ship Rock. Built, owned, and operated by the city and county of Denver, Red Rocks can seat well over 9,000 people and sits at 6,450 feet above sea level. The first notable ensemble to play the venue was the Beatles in 1964. If you can believe it, it was the only show in their US tour that year that wasn't sold out. Some performances have had such a strong public reaction that they've led to rock being banned from the venue for years at a time in the 1970s. It's always a fun feeling coming to a place that has as much history as this. These rocks have heard a lot. It's also a perfect place to have a picnic. And now that we've explored it with just the rock runners, we're determined to come back and see a show here. Well, that's the end of our trip to Boulder. And I gotta say, I've fallen in love with the place. It has so many things I live for. Great views, clean air, happy people, and legal weed. It was even more special to get to explore it with my mom. Here's to another successful adventure. May we never fail to take a trip together whenever Yule Time rolls around. I'd also like to recommend everyone check out Best Buds by Leafly on YouTube. They've only done one season with 3 episodes so far, but it's a fun example of how awesome weed tourism can be to vlog. But if you like what you saw in this video and want to see more, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment down below. Well, that's all for now. I can't wait to go back to Colorado and want to wish everyone a very happy Yule. Tailwinds out.